What's up guys, Jake with Tactical, coming to another special video. Today we are looking at the Cyelee Cat X Pro. Now this was a red dot that was actually sent out to me by Cyelee for testing and evaluation. Much appreciated guys, thank you Cyelee for doing that. On top of that, they did send us the ammunition that we'll be using in today's review. Some blazer brass casing as well as aluminum casing. Now if you guys know how we do here on the channel, typically when we get free stuff, we tend to beat the living piss out of it. And that's not going to be too different today with this red dot. Today we're going to go over all the specs and features, zero the red dot, and then we're going to properly shoot it, mag dump, all that good stuff, and then beat the piss out of it to see if it can hold zero after all that abuse. We do this because we think it's important to know if the stuff you buy like this on the internet is actually worth it. We live in East Tennessee. Let's be honest, we're poor. Anytime we get free stuff like this, we tend to beat the piss out of it. The caveat to this is on the PSA micro dagger. I bought this micro dagger with my own money. We're going to do a couple of modifications to our standard beating test in order to more or less save the micro dagger from the collateral damage that this red dot might take. After we beat the piss out of it and mag dump it a few times, we're going to recheck the zero on it and see how well it holds up. Let's see how she does. First things first, we need to zero this red dot because I have not done that yet. Hence this nice little tool they give you here. We're using blazer brass cased ammunition, 115 grain. We're about 25 feet roughly. Decent engagement encounter, I think. Let's see how she does. So the Cat X Pro, this is an RSMC micro red dot. Meaning it's not going to take your standard RMR pattern like you have on a full size or compact handgun. This is also known as the shield footprint as well. It has 10 different brightness settings, 8 of which are going to be for daylight use and 2 of which are going to be for night vision. Now just like most red dots from Cyelee, this does have a side loading battery tray. It takes a CR1632 battery. You'll get about 50,000 hours of runtime. Now obviously if you have it cranked out to the maximum brightness, then your battery life may be less than 50,000 hours. And if you have it on the lowest brightness, then you'll probably get more than 50,000 hours. That being said, Cyelee does follow the meta of what people want in their red dots, and this does feature shake away technology. Simply put, if you let this sit somewhere on the ground for 4 or 5 minutes, something like that, it will automatically turn off for you and it will not turn back on until you actually pick it up and it detects that movement. It'll come back on, same brightness and everything you had before. You'll be good to go. It is shock proof, waterproof, all that good stuff. It's got a standard aluminum housing like you typically see with most red dots. So much better results. We were aiming at this top target here. Did a pretty good job with it. Roughly about 25 feet, decent, standard self-defense engagement range. At first we were zeroing and we had some shots down here, but we eventually pulled it up and got the grip to be up there. So very nice. You've got your windage on the right side here and your elevation up top. One cool thing about the elevation is there is a notch cut out here. You'll see that notch right there where the screw is. That actually lines up perfectly so that you can still use your iron sight, your front and rear sight, in case something were to happen, like you break the glass or something happens. You can still use your standard front rear sight, line them up to make your shots. So I really like that. Now we do have this installed on a PSA micro dagger, and you'll see where the slide is cut for RMSC. It does fit directly onto the slide if it's RMSC cut. If you need to put this on something else, which I don't really know how many other micro red dot patterns are out there, but if you need to put on something else, then you might have to put an adapter, raising the overall height of the red dot, and you may not be able to use your rear and front sight. Now this red dot comes in at about $225 online from what I could find, so it's priced around the same range as other budget-friendly red dots. Now this red dot has one really cool thing about it, and that is it has different reticles to help with those that may have astigmatism. By standard, it has a 3 MOA dot with a 30 MOA circle all around it. However, if you press and hold the up button on the brightness, you'll actually cycle between 3 other different types of reticles for you to choose from. So starting with the standard red dot with the circle and dot, if you press and hold the brightness button, you will see it switches to a typical traditional red dot. And then if you press and hold it again, it then switches to just like the circle part without the dot in the middle. Not sure why you want that, maybe for airsoft, I don't know. But it's there as a choice. Of course, if you press and hold it again, it'll go back to the circle with the dot. This particular reticle is really good for astigmatism. It looks different. Like, for example, if you look at the dot by itself, it's not really the same dot as what you get in the circle dot. It's just like a typical red dot, and you see there's a little bit of a brightness that kind of sprays out from the middle of the dot, kind of like you see with a typical red dot. This is great for those that don't really want the extra large ring around it and don't have astigmatism. This might be a good choice for you. But I think for most people, they're gonna probably want to do the circle and the dot like this. So really good on Cyelee for giving you the different options to choose from. I really like that. Thing is, that's not gonna matter unless it can hold 0. So like we always do, let's see how she does. I think we're gonna take a page from 704 Tactical's playbook and do the water ball test, because I'll be honest with you guys, it's not a matter if this will break if we do our typical torture drop test. We know it's gonna break. Instead, we're gonna do the water ball test just to really smack the crap out of it, out of the sides, and see if maybe we can make it lose 0. And then we're gonna test it on our paper target and see how she holds up. Let's go ahead and just beat the piss out of it. I really like this gun, so I don't want to actually damage it. It's hard to get slides and frames for the micro dagger. That's why we're doing this. All right. I'm like hitting it as hard as I can. Like the whole water ball is caving in. Obviously it still works. Let's go ahead and see what kind of a 0 we get here. And I am aiming for the chest. Not bad. As you see there, I got almost all my shots right on target. Little red bullseye there. So clearly after taking a big and after the recoil of 115 grain 9mm, this is not a problem for the Cyelee Cat X Pro. All right, so after thoroughly zeroing it and beating the piss out of it and checking the 0 again, I gotta say I'm really impressed. This thing really held up just fine. Granted, we didn't drop test it. I like my micro dagger. I just got it. We just put out a review for it. I love it. I didn't want to damage it. I beat the piss out of it as much as I could with that water ball to see if it would hold up fine and hold 0. And from what I can tell, I mean, damn, I got it directly on the bullseye after beating the piss out of it and mag dumping and shooting steel and everything else we did. It held up really, really good. I gotta say I'm impressed. I don't know what kind of witchcraft or wizardry they did to actually put so much value into this red dot, but I think it's worth it. Now the bottom line is, do I think you should buy this red dot? I think so, because at that price point of 225, 300-ish, yeah, is that kind of a lot of money? For a micro red dot, not really. That's kind of the standard typical pricing of what you see. The difference is with this one, you get a whole lot of features for what you pay. I like it. And I think if you're looking for a micro red dot for your micro handgun, like the PSA micro dagger, like the Glock 43X, I think you will like it too. Guys, that's going to wrap it up today. If you're still this kind of content, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Have you ever picked up a Cyelee Cat X Pro? Love to hear from you. We will see you next time.